Good evening, everybody. Hello and welcome to... It was going to be an evening of mediumship with Maka White, but unfortunately Maka's not been able to do it tonight. So at the last second, our lovely Jean has agreed to come online with me, and we thought we would do a little chat with. It might be just a Q&A. It might be a chat with Jean, where we talk about Jean's journey in spiritualism. It can be anything. So, but as always, we will open in prayer and say the Lord's Prayer just to set the intention for tonight. So could we all bow our heads and join together, please, friends? Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, we thank you for the opportunity of gathering together tonight. We're grateful that as friends we can come together in your name and just celebrate for a short time the world of spirit. Father, I ask that the veil be opened between the two realms so that a guardian angel may step forward to guard over us tonight while we endeavour to seek for truth. Father, I ask that your presence be around us to guide us in our discussions. And I ask, as always, that everything we do be done with truth, love and honesty. Amen.
Amen.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
So,
we haven't got a poem.
We haven't got a poem for tonight, but I think everybody watching, Jean, would be interested to hear how you came to spiritualism.
Right.
Because you've been doing it for about 5 or 6 years now, haven't you? Been 27 like I am.
Well, yes. It's quite simple, really, because I'm saying simple. My mum passed when I was 12, and we were fetched up as strict Catholics then. And when my mum passed, my dad just said, why, can you take somebody like her and leave me with 5 kiddies, like you do? And somebody said to me, Dad, I'll take you to a church. And my dad says, I'm never walking into a church again. He says, that's it, I'm not doing it. So she's no come to my church. So I says, because I weren't there when my mum died. So I says, well, you can't go, Dad, without me, because then I was stuck to his leg. So I went along with him and I was 12. And first church we ever walked into was Parkgate at Rotherham, for those who don't know it. And I just sat there and waited, and everybody had started and just wondered what were happening. And at 12-year-old, you don't get gist of what's going off. Anyway, we went again. My dad says, oh, we're going again. And then my dad just started getting messages off. So from being 12, from being a Catholic, and then me going into a spiritualist church, fetched me into spiritualism. Because then I followed into my dad's footsteps. Because every time my dad went to church, I went with him. So then I started getting little things. And I think I were about 13. And them going back where you couldn't give messages in churches at that age. You had to be a lot older. And I just kept hearing little things like you do, and you dismiss them, thinking, no, it's only me. And I started, so I'd be about 13, 14 when I actually gave a first message off, but it weren't in a church. It were after to my dad coming home. And then my dad become within 6-8 months, something like that. He become a big medium. And I've just, from then, just followed in his footsteps. And I've really enjoyed it. So I've been on a big journey with my dad through his mediumship and through some venues and everything he's been in. And then obviously as I got older, got a chance to do more and more, and then become a committee member, then a president. And I saw now I'd class myself being a medium about 28 years, you know,
Yeah.
official like, but about 15 years doing rostrum. But look, just like you, Tony, I've had things from being younger.
Yeah.
But you don't, when you're little, you don't think that. And
Well,
then
you
it were
don't realise
only,
what it is, do you?
no. And then somebody said that my mum and my mum's mum were a medium. It were another medium what told me, but your mum kept everything quiet because in them days, you didn't go around telling everybody.
No.
So I
No.
think I've been fetched up in a family of mediums, if you like. But in all my family, there's only me, because I was 1-9, there's only me actually become a medium and others haven't. But John and Amy, me 2 kids, can actually work with spirit, but just don't want to, Tony. As you've met Amy, you've seen John, but you've not met. But a lot like you, it's, you know, it's just working with spirit. And I think it's one thing I really enjoy doing because I love to help people. You do. I love to help people. If I can prove to people that there is life after, then I'm privileged.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how it works.
What was it like at 12, 14? Was it very well known spiritualism, or was it out there but not?
There was the churches when I was 12, because I know there were Parkgate where I went to, and then Percy Street, because obviously I come from Rotherham, and Percy Street, and there were churches around there, but you didn't find as many in them. And the people, for me to go into a church, a spiritist church, there wasn't young uns. There were no young uns. This sounds awful, doesn't it? Because I'm 61 now, but they were all older generation. You didn't find young uns in a spiritualist church. We're now,
I was
which
going to
is
say
brilliant.
that's
It's
different
changed.
now.
Yeah.
But saying that, Jane, that was when we were last in a church, which is 18 months ago.
Yeah.
It might not be the same now. I don't know. It's going to be very strange when we get. But saying that, that's really interesting because I was talking to my mum the other day, and her mum was told to go to a spiritualist church and develop, and she wouldn't have it. She says, I've got enough trouble as it is. I don't need naught else on top. So my nana obviously had the ability and chose not to. But I do know that, you know how back then you had your front room, your parlour.
A lot did it in the rooms, yeah.
And they did tipping and cards, not playing cards, reading cards in the back room, in the front room, you know, where the vicar would sit.
Yeah.
Or the priest in your case. But
well, it was father in my case, weren't it?
The priest.
Somebody's just put.
I saw something go up.
Something's
earlier.
Just put. It's weird that a lot of Catholics are gifted.
I saw that, and do you think it's because the more I don't mean spiritual. What am I trying to say? Because they go to church like so many times a week, and you know they're in that, they're open to God, and anyway, so it. But I don't know. I don't know.
But I know first time my dad used to do it, like I said, but I can remember in house when my mum passed, and I was with my cousin who were playing out back garden, and I couldn't believe it when our Klein, I'll say her name because she don't watch, and she came in crying and saying, I've seen my Aunt Elsie. So obviously a mum, then you can't have done, don't be silly, thinking she'd upset us. But I have. I've seen my Aunt Elsie in back window. She's watching us playing. And then when I looked up, I could see my mum. And she was watching us playing, and she'd passed. And that was first time I could see somebody like looking at me and you.
Yeah.
And now Kleiner, bless her mum smacked her because she thought she were upsetting us.
Oh.
And she weren't, because I could see my mum.
Yeah.
And so it was just lovely. But I clung to my dad. So in one sense, I can say that it was my dad what fetched me through into spiritualism, because I wouldn't leave him.
And he's still helping you now.
And he's still, because he's one of my guides now. And I do thank him. And like I said, if I can
no,
help
wrong one.
anybody.
That
Sorry,
one.
go on.
Were you scared to share your gift, or not so much as you were brought up around it?
Even though, like I said, at school, because I could pick things up at school then, because I knew what, and I'd seen things happen and things like that, and I'd heard things. But at school, because I thought, hang on, they're going to think
people
I'm
are going to,
I'll be sent to
well, I can see
psychiatric unit.
A man walking round with little Johnny so-and-so,
Yeah, they would have sent me to the psychiatric unit, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
They would have thought there was something
For
wrong
me,
if I
it
said
was
I can hear somebody.
slightly different because I wasn't really brought up with it. We were brought up Church of England, and then I went round Methodists, and I tried them all. I went
tried
everywhere.
them when I was a Catholic, Tony. I used to sneak. We used to say we were going to Catholic church, and we sneaked to a Methodist church at Brinsworth because it was more fun than Catholic church. And it was only when we got found out that we went mad.
I didn't try. I married a Catholic. I didn't try the Catholic faith, but it was just one day I found myself walking into Parkgate.
Saw me.
And I don't, to this day, I don't know why I ended up walking in there, really.
Yeah, you said to me, I don't know how come I've come.
No.
What's fetched me here?
No. Paul says, do you think we're all born with the gift, but it's driven out of us by peer pressure and our lifestyle? Everybody is spiritual.
Yes, everybody has got the ability, Tony. That's why I always say, but not everybody, I don't think, suited to it, I'll be honest.
No. Oh, I have to say, Suzanne Symes, I love the Doris Stokes books. I've read quite a few.
I've got them, yeah. But yes, Paul, and I do think that a lot of pressure today. I think there's a lot of pressure out there.
Yeah.
Today, and it shouldn't be like that anymore. It shouldn't. And we do get, as you know, we all get to thrown people at us and say we're witches. Even today, we're witches. My friend stopped coming to Parkgate with me because her cousins called her a witch, and she frightened to death that she didn't step into another spiritualist church. And we still get that. People still think, what on earth are you doing? You can't talk to dead people. I'm going to say dead people because that's what they used to say. And when I were at working, we hired a room in a church. And it were Reverend Edley at the time who had it, and this other bloke, I'll not give his name, and he'd tried every religion under the sun, not Reverend Edley, this other lad. And he knew then I was a spiritualist and that, and he pulled me to pieces. And I said, look, you believe in your religion, and this is my religion, and I'll keep to my senses. And then he let out, he says, oh, I've tried spiritualism and played it about with cards and Ouija board and everything. I says, well, what are you getting at me for then, when you've played with all that? And it's been really hard when I've had to shut spirit down because my boss knew about it, but she was born again Christian. And I got her dad a couple of times come. And I could see him behind her. But yet it's so hard, bless them, when they're coming through and you can't get that message off. And that's what we talk about on here, Tony. We do. That it's awful when they spend the time coming through and you can't do anything with it.
No, it's bad.
But I do love it, like I say. And I was fortunate that I was fetched up into an home where mediumship were. And then my dad met Pat, as you know, through Parkgate Church.
For me, Crystal, it was a bit. There is a difference between seeing a physical person and seeing a spirit person. I can't really explain because sometimes they do look as physical as Jean and myself or Michael. It's just sometimes you can just sense that they're not of this plane. But when you're really young, you do, like Jean says, say, oh, I've seen Mr. So-and-so down the street, and everybody's like, no, he's gone to see Jesus. You can't have seen him. And you're like, well, I just have, because he's just walked past my gate and said, hello there, Anthony, are you all right? So I have just seen him because he's just spoken to me. But as you get older, you get to understand that they're not really here in the sense of they're not physical. They're just the spirit. And by the time you're 12, 13, in my case, you think, well, I'm not telling anybody I can see you standing there because, like Jean says, I'll be carted off with that back to front jacket on.
It was like that. And it's a shame in a lot of even countries where we're packed goes to Sweden and Switzerland and that, and they still cannot have spiritualist churches. They still use the homes and the like scouts huts and things like that, where they all meet, because they're not allowed to have them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, when I went, we packed that time and going back years. Yeah, and I was shocked that they don't have a spiritualist church. They arranged to meet in somebody's house or in like a scouts hut, community centre hut. And they all meet up there because they're not allowed to do it.
The thing, Crystal, with negative energies, it depends what you mean by negative energy. Let's start by separating it out.
Yeah,
negative energy is if somebody's not the nicest person down here, if they're a grumpy old then when they cross over to spirit, they're still going to be a grumpy old
Oh yeah, they don't change.
If you're talking about demons with red eyes and long pointy
nails
fingernails,
and scales,
no. I've been doing this 6-ish years now.
When you met me, yeah.
And I've met not nice people and I felt uncomfortable energy, but I haven't seen anybody with red eyes and scales and pointy teeth.
I don't believe that, Tony. I'll be honest.
I don't. I think you can get some very not nice people coming back. I had a man come. Jean was in the circle actually, and it was another medium I went to give a message to, and this two horrible men wanted to come through to talk to her, and I could sense that this man was really handy with his fists towards this lovely lady I was given. Do you remember?
Yes.
Do you remember me? And I said to her, I'll have to come back to you after the circle because I can't talk about what he wants to talk about. And she says, oh, I know why he's come. He's come just to tell me, look, I can still get to you. She says, but the thing is, I'm not scared of him now. He can't hurt me. So that's the way we control it, if you like. It's not control, it's protect ourselves from it, is a prayer like we've just said, that we want protection for the time we're together, and that we everything we want to do will be done with love, truth and honesty. And that way you tend not to get them coming to you because they know you're not going to entertain them. And if you sense that energy coming,
you learn the difference.
I've learned now to say to my guides, no, I don't want them here. Don't let them come anywhere near me. I'm not interested.
Your guides and that do help with that because they wouldn't let
anybody they're your family. They're your family,
let anybody
aren't they?
Come and help
and they're
you.
not going to let you come in.
But you've got to be strong, and you've got to say to them that you do, because we all know that, there's people who aren't very nice out there and they're good of spirit. We know that. But you've just got to think on. You're always in control of them. Yeah. And that's why I always tell when I teach, it's you what let them in. And if you don't want them in, you tell them no. And it's like somebody knocking on your door. If you didn't like them, you'd say, no, I'm sorry, go away.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to let a spirit in, and you don't feel easy, then you just, I'm sorry, but go away. Don't be nasty with them, but just say no and be firm and say no. That's it. Cut off. You're not coming. But somebody's just, I don't know if it was Scott, about opening and closing. It's I'll just go back quickly, Tony, if you don't mind. You learn how to do that, and that's where you have to go to a class or let somebody teach you know what they're doing, because you do need to open to spirit and close. You cannot be open 24/7 with spirit, because you wear yourself out. You're working on their energies, you're working on your energies. and you do burn yourself out. So you've got to know when to close down. And I know Tony's a lot like me. Only time Tony opens up is when we're doing such as this, when we're doing a service on a rostrum, or if you're doing a one-to-one with somebody. That's the only time I open up. And if they see a little light, the cheeky, they'll jump in. And if they are, and I don't want them, then I say, no, it's my time. Go away. They'll come back. Don't be frightened. They'll always come back and talk to you later.
Yeah. I was just going to respond to this one.
Yeah, go on then, love. No, go on.
I was just going to say that the way you get started, Megan, is I went to a spiritualist church. If you've got one near you, that's an ideal place to start. And Jean took me under her wing and has helped me to develop. And that's the way I would recommend it. Find somebody you trust who knows what they're doing to help you to open up. What I would say is, I agree with you in that. I can't get behind the old-fashioned "if you're bad, you go to hell." No. God isn't like that. God,
they're there to help you.
They are, and God would never create anything like a hell. It's just people who do wrong go over to spirit like everybody else does, but they're just held back, and they have to learn the lessons of their life and understand what they've done. And if they can't do that, they'll stay where they are. It's not purgatory as such, but it's just, if you imagine a block of flats and they start down in the basement in the boiler room with the oil and the grease and the rats and stuff, and as they learn the lessons, they get to move up a bit. And we all want to get to the penthouse at the top of the swimming pool. And
I want to be sat on that throne, me, through them pearly gates. This one's a good one, Tony. Tara, have you seen it?
No.
Where's it go? Where's it gone now? If a person dies tragically and they're stuck, they say that they're stuck on the earth plane, don't they? So they can't move on. Yet they do move them on. They wouldn't be stuck here. They're not stuck here, Doug. It's, how can I put it? Because the families do come and take them. They may want to come back and keep having a nosy. That's what they do, but they won't get stuck.
And when
they
you
have
think,
people to help them over.
If we've passed, our instinct is we want to be with our loved ones who are grieving. And spirit, I believe, because, well, I don't believe, I've heard from spirit who say, but we grieve just like you do, because we grieve the loss of the physical contact, just like the families. I used to say left behind, but it's not left behind, because they're not left behind. They're just the families here grieving. So they're going to want to be here to look after you.
Keep wanting to look, but they're not wandering
So that's
round.
why I think people think they're stuck, because they're here a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're stuck, it's just that they're here being around.
It's like just going back to that question. When first day I passed away, the first time, because I passed away now 3 times, but the first time I actually saw my dad.
Don't worry, Jean's not from spirit.
No, I'm not
Jean
from spirit.
I'm here physical. They brought her back. They sent her back. They didn't want her.
Well, they sent me back. And I can remember seeing my dad, and my daughter will tell you if she were here, because in fact I actually passed away and thrown in bathroom. So I were queen, me. In bathroom, first time. Anyway, I saw my dad and I wanted to go to my dad, and I was there and I was crying and everything. I can't remember this, my daughter told me after. But my dad said to me, the first words he says to me is, you go back, it's not your time yet, we go back and I'll come and talk to you when I'm ready. And it must have been 2 or 3 weeks later, my dad come and said, we wasn't ready, you weren't supposed to be with us. That's why they fetched me back, because I weren't ready. But when I do know I'm ready, I do know that's where I'm going to go. And to be honest, it'd be lovely to go back to my mum, dad and my brothers. It's the people you leave behind here. And my dad were getting upset just like I were, because I wanted to stay with him and I couldn't. I just couldn't stay with him.
Megan, that's a really, really good question.
How do you open
It's
up?
individual to each medium. Jean taught me a specific way of opening up, which was fine for while I was just starting out, but you develop your own style. But what opening up to spirit means is you open up your energy and say to them, I'm ready to work. And you can feel your spirit guide step forward. Some
Protect
people invite.
yourself.
Yeah. You ask for protection. You ask spirit or God if you believe in God. If you don't, you ask spirit to protect you for the time you're going to be working. You say to spirit, I'm ready to work. Please allow my guides and inspirers to come forward. I don't need to do that now. I just say,
do it.
hey fellas, I'm ready. They're not all fellas, some of them are women, but I just say, hey fellas, I'm ready, and I can feel them come forward, and I know that I'm ready to work. But some people imagine taking a cloak off with a hood and dropping it behind them. Some people unzip something. Some people
buttons,
but
flowers.
Then in the reverse, you put the cape back on when you're finished and pull the hood up so you're protected, and you close down. So,
same way.
But it's whatever works for you. Pat talks about chakras. I can't get my head around chakras.
Megan becoming a medium, or if that's what she's aiming at. Megan, can I just say, sweetheart, I don't know how far you're on in your spiritualism, and Tony will know. Can I just say to you though, don't do it unless you know what you're doing.
No.
Because if it's first time and you think, oh, I want to see if I can work with spirit, it's lovely. And like I said, we've all got the ability. Make sure you are safe in that environment, sweetheart. Don't just sit in your room if you've never done it before.
No,
and then just say, come on, come through, because that's when you can get that negative energy. Can we just answer Lisa Scott's? And then we're like, oh, do this one, then answer Lisa's.
No, I was just going to say to Pamela, like I said, it's fine. I'm a Christian spiritualist. I believe in the principles of spiritualism, but also the teachings of Christ. So, but that's me. Other people don't believe in God or Jesus or anything, and that's fine as well. But it's whatever works for you, whatever really, your beliefs are. The thing is with spiritualism, even with Christian spiritualism, which is what I do, everybody's welcome on my live feeds. I won't say to you, oh, you don't believe in God, you can't watch. We won't give you a message. That's it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, the one, yes, please. Can we just answer that? Because
how do you address the conversation about heaven and death with a small child?
You've got to go really careful with this.
Oh, there's different schools of thought on this.
Because
my personal thing is be as honest as you can be for that child.
Without frightening them. Without frightening them.
Don't say go to sleep. They've gone to sleep, because you find kids who are then horrified of going to bed because...
We've told my grandson that, because obviously he's only 3 and he doesn't know anybody who's human who's passed, let's see that, but he knows about my cat and his other nanny's dog. And we've explained to him that star in sky for now, because it's easiest. So we said that's that brightest star. But you're asking, Lisa, about your little lad talking.
You know him best.
Talking to your other son, is it? Because I've lost it now. You know how to talk to your little
brother
lad.
In spirit.
Yeah, but you're on about your little son. He could be talking to your brother in spirit, because it's surprising how kiddies are very vulnerable to spirit. They open up to spirit a lot quicker than we can. And he will be talking. If your big brother's coming to talk to him,
his big brother,
sorry, your other son, then yes, he will be. Because it's so open for kiddies to speak to spirit. And if ask him little questions, but don't frighten him, because he'll be able to tell you things about your other son, because he would have already spoken to him and he'll be able to tell you what he's like. But just don't frighten him. Go one step at a time. Go one step at a time, because you can't frighten kiddies.
I know somebody who said, oh, Grandad's gone to sleep forever.
Yeah.
and the little lad, he was about 7, I think. It was my friend's son, and he stopped going to bed.
Frightened
It
to
was
go to
months
sleep.
and months before we would go to
Don't
bed.
do it.
No,
Thank
be as
you for that,
honest.
Stacey.
I would say with
Thank you so much,
anything,
love.
it's be as honest as you can be for that child,
be
and you know that
careful.
child better than anybody.
Yeah, you do.
Be careful with him. Yeah.
Stacey's put, Jean and Tony work with my mum. Jean is my mentor. Well, I were a mentor when we could when she come to Settle. Stacey did come to me development group, but at the minute, obviously, it's not
Yeah.
open because of shutdown. And I'll open when I know
Yeah.
it's safe to do so.
If
That's
a
why it's
person
good
dies
with
a
these.
horrible death, what I would say, Tara, is take comfort that the spirit knows that that suffering was a minute blink of time in their life, and they're never stuck. They're reunited with their loved ones, and the thing is that they've been coming. They'll come back just to be around their family, and that's why people think that they're stuck, because they see them around a lot. And these mediums who say, "Oh, they're trapped in this house and they need to get them trapped." Sometimes, what Jean and I have found a couple of times when we've tried to cross people over is they've stayed around to watch their kids grow up and lost their way a little bit.
Yeah, that's
so
all.
They just need somebody from spirit to step forward to help them.
Just tell them they
go
can go.
over.
Yeah.
And
that's the family. Just ask some more of the family in spirit to come and help you, and they'll come and meet them one way and you'll meet them the other. And that's how it works. But they will cross to spirit. They won't stay here. And how many people say, I can't leave me home because I can't leave them behind?
Yeah.
You can move house because they'll go with you.
Yeah.
They might even like your other house better.
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah.
Is that one I've just got up? What does it mean? Oh, you've not dreamt about him.
I've gone years without dreaming of mum and dad.
Don't worry about that. It doesn't mean you forgot them. I didn't hear from my mum. And like I said, I was 12 when she passed, and oh God, years, it's got to be 20 years more. I never heard from my mum. And I've got to say to this day, I think I've only ever had 2 messages off my mum. I mean, it doesn't mean I don't love her. It doesn't mean my mum don't love me. It's just one of them things that I don't see much in my family, funny enough, unless Tony brings my dad through, or odd times my brothers. But my own family don't come to me a lot. It's just funny.
I love your dad's energy.
My dad, yeah, we were good medium, weren't and I think that's why he helps.
Yeah, and he seems to get how I work. He understands how I work, and the messages flow quite nicely from him.
All I can say, sweetheart, don't worry if you've not dreamt about him. It's not that you forgot about him, because you'll never forget. It just means they're probably off doing something else in the spirit world, because they have little jobs to do, or they're looking after other people, what's coming over into spirit. But they will come through when they're ready, sweetheart. I got told once from a medium, it's difficult for them to come and talk to us as it is to talk to them, because you've got to think they've still got the emotion. They get upset just like we do.
My mum says that it's 50 years since her mum passed, and she's never been to my mum.
Not ready.
And my mum says, but why would she come and talk to somebody else but not come and talk to me? And I said, Mum, I can't answer that for you.
No, because we don't know.
I've asked my nana.
Honest, yeah.
I've asked my nana, why don't you come and talk to my mum? And she doesn't. She never answers me about it, which is really odd.
I believe they're doing something else, and that's what I got told, that they get little jobs and, helping other people through and things like that.
Let's have a look. There's another couple of questions I've seen. Sophie's talking about how she's talked to Lucas about passing. Oh, Sophie, your mum's energy is lovely. She's gone to cloud 9. I like that. She's gone to cloud 9.
Oh, so somebody's just said about to Irene, and Stacey's just answered. She does do services. Yes, she does. But this one's just been a quick one, as
It was
Tony said at
just
the beginning. Because
Maka messaged me quite
at
late
last
on and
minute.
said he couldn't make it. And I just messaged Jean straight away and said, do you fancy coming on and just doing a chat? So that's what we've done.
So that's why Irene's
No
not
disrespect to Irene. It's just
It's just been so quick.
It was a last minute thing.
It was that or have to cancel, weren't it?
It was, and I don't like cancelling if I can help it. How do you go about getting into a development circle? Adele, you find somewhere that's local to you and see if they're doing one.
Yeah, I would say an awareness is, if a development's brilliant, but I would try the awareness.
You
bring a
they
bit
won't
of
understand the difference between awareness and
because
development.
Awareness is making you more aware of spirit, and it gives you that insight. Development's when you've already got that awareness, and then they're bringing you on a lot more.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the SNU type churches will do. Other groups will do it differently.
Yeah,
I went
just go into a nice church or any church where you feel comfortable. Ask if they're under classes, and ask. Some have a waiting list. Put your name down. If not, say, can you join the next one? And then join, and they'll tell you everything what you need to know and how to do this, how to do that. And
yeah,
with my development, I know people live away from me, but my development, we learn, but we learn in a nice, fun way.
Yeah.
So it's not too serious, but we do a bit of everything, and I show people how to work with tools, because a lot of people say, "How can you read ribbons and
we're going to try and
we do all that."
We're going to try and do something like that on a StreamYard feed, aren't we, Jean, at some point?
So I let people have a
work
go
with ribbons and colour and things.
Just to show how you can work with other, what we call them props, because you don't need them. It's just nice to show people how you can use them.
Megan,
right.
I wouldn't do it just to speak to your deceased loved one, because you might not hear from them. Like Jean's just said, there's lots of reasons why spirit don't come back to particular members of the family.
Yes.
And we always say, if we're given a private reading, please, if you're here to talk to your dad or your grandma or whoever, and just to them, it might not work, because we can't guarantee who's going to step forward. You will only connect with the spirit that steps forward to connect with you. And it could be somebody you've never met, but they know your family, or they know you, or whatever. And I know it's not really a question, but what I'm saying is, don't go with that intention, because you might be disappointed. Because we've had it before, haven't we, Jean, where a person's come for a specific thing and they get devastated when it doesn't happen. And you know, and
come with an open mind.
Yeah, if you go in with an open mind, you'll have an amazing journey. I've got to say, Jean just said to me, your grandmother's saying this is your last chance, basically. You know, we've tried to work with you for 30 several years, or 40 several years as it was at the time. And you know, we'll leave it to you in future. And I just said, fine, do what you want. And Jean took me under her wing and developed me, and it's been an amazing journey.
Well, apparently Amanda actually came to one of my development and fledgling groups at Parkgate.
I just saw that, yeah.
Well, you can come to another one, sweetheart, when we get Unity up and running.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome to come along. Everybody is if they live around Rotherham.
Oh, Paul, have you been winding Lynn up? Is that what that message is? Because if you've been winding Lynn up, you know she's going to come and kick my butt. You know she is. And it won't be pretty. And I'll have to shout at you, because she'll be shouting at me. If there isn't a Christian spiritualist Christian church, there might be a Christian spiritualist group. there might be a spiritualist group around, or there might be an online group. I mean, a lot of people say online groups aren't as good, but they can be. So, you know.
Just make sure you get somebody.
Suzanne, I would say they are tools. They're nothing more, nothing less than that. They are tools. I've got decks of angel cards, and I've got some oracle cards, and I've got some tarot cards. And I get inspiration from them, but I don't read them as cards because I can't, it doesn't work for me. But if I'm giving somebody a spirit message and I keep turning cards over, bits will jump out of the cards, which if I was doing that in front of somebody who knows cards and reads them, is a card reader, they would say you're doing that wrong. That's not what that card means, but that's what it means to me.
Like I say, well, obviously, if Amanda comes to my class, like Tony had to go as well. I do ribbons and things like that, and that's just to show you different things you can use with spirit, and it's lovely, you know, to fetch your flowering because people have never seen anything like that done before with vegetables and fruit. And I know it sounds silly, water, sand. Some people have never seen anything like that work, and it does work, but you've just always got to remember that you can do your mediumship direct. You don't need something in your hand. A lot of people use it as a comforter.
You don't.
I know good friends who are mediums. They'll carry a crystal and things like that in their hand. That's fine. I carry a tissue, don't I, Tony? If I'm on rostrum, I have a tissue in my hand.
You've got a tissue in your hand.
That's because my dad always has a tissue.
Yeah.
Bless him when he were here.
Which is your strongest mediumship tool? Hearing, seeing, feeling. I feel the energy of the person first. So I'll get a sense of how they were when they were on Earth plane. So I'll feel whether they were grumpy, whether they were happy. The other night they were just being silly with me and it got out of hand a little bit. But then as the connection gets stronger, I start to hear their voice and then I see them and they'll give me smells of aftershaves or flowers or something. And that's how it works with me. Jean?
I'm very similar, but what I've always, well, you've heard me on here if you've watched, I like to see the person, but I know they're there first because I can, just like Tony, you can feel them, you sense them with you, and that's straight away, and then they'll give me that little nudge. And Tony knows when a spirit comes right close to me, my legs go cold. I work hot with spirit, but they seem to take my legs for some reason. My legs go really cold, and that's when I know they're close. But at the same time, some people, and I know a lot will probably ask, is, well, I can't see and I can't hear and I can't this. You don't need all that.
No.
Not everybody's got the 5 senses of spiritualism, but that don't matter. If you can tell a message, that's fine. The spirit are telling it you and you're just getting it in shadows or you don't know where it's coming from in your mind. That is spirit. Just give it.
Yeah.
So if you don't see them or you don't feel them, that's fine. Don't worry about that because they're not ready for you to do that. But yet you know your message is right. And like I've always said, whatever comes in, Tony, comes out.
First thing in your mind is yours.
Comes out.
Second thing in your mind is spirit. First thing in your mind is spirit. Second thing is yours.
Because you're thinking on it. If you're just there, you're thinking on it and you'll add things to it.
That winds me up when people are in a circle. You shouldn't say
you're working with spirit, but a lot do. And sometimes even I've said it. But you don't need to work with it because what comes in should come out.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. And that's how you know you're working with spirit because it's just coming and you'll learn. More you get on, especially these who want development, you might just get little pinpoints at first. You just might get little dots, like you get
bullet
little
points,
dots, bullet points. And then you've got to learn then how to put all that into a sentence. And that's where that's where your learning comes, because then you're putting all that into a sentence.
Yeah.
And then you just have to be careful on how you say it. Like us, you get somebody we won't use bad language, but they do.
Yeah.
So you're learning. I've done it all these years and I'm still learning. I'm still learning today. You always learn.
Yeah, Pam, I agree with you completely. Give what you get, no matter what.
Yeah.
That's so true.
As long as you're careful if it's you've got to be very careful on some things.
We've had it in open circles before when you go to somebody and say, Freddie, have you got anything? I'm not sure, I'm working on
Yeah.
it.
No, give it
No.
straight away.
No.
Give it.
Get up on your feet and say it, because if you're working on it, you're interpreting what you're getting, and that's not what you're supposed to do. I've just seen somebody ask, how did you start? Jackie Lacroix from Canada.
Oh.
With me, I've always been aware of spirit, always, but I never worked with it. And then one day I just said to Michael, I'm going down to the church. And I walked down the hill to the spiritualist church, and this mad woman came across and gave me a message. And I'll tell you a secret. She's been stalking me ever since.
Look, that's why I call him little brother.
Yeah.
I think, like with me, like Tony's just said, I think I've always been aware of spirit. But when you're little, what do they say? You've got an imaginary friend, don't they?
My imaginary friends were
and
imaginary
usually it's a
friends. I know that
spirit.
now.
They are usually spirits what do come around. And there's been a good question on there, because my daughter were a twin, and they were identical. They would have been both born in psych. Tony knows. I lost Amy's twin, and even now, Amy can sense some of the other baby what with her, because they weren't both same psych. So she can tell you things, and I'm sure Amy got everything that other kid could have got anyway.
Yeah.
Because sometimes where she is. So yeah, if the twins, they can sense the other one. You never stop learning. Never.
No, never.
Never. Every time I do a class, I learn more myself. And that's what's one good thing.
Yeah. Even doing these online services that we've been doing I've been doing these quite a long time now. I think I saw a Facebook memory came up the other day of one of the first ones I did, and I'm sure it was about 4 years ago I started doing these Facebook Lives. And I learned from the conversations that are going on, like tonight in the chat, or the way that information's been presented to me for people on the feed. I learned something new about how spirit are working, and it's incredible. Really incredible. Jackie, you see shadows of
we're just looking.
Yeah.
You can. How many times do you think you've seen something at corner of your eye in the past and you dismiss it? Normally it's spirit.
Yeah.
I see my cat quite a lot. See other animals, but lately cat's been here a lot.
Oh, actually.
Yeah, I don't know why, but cat's been here a lot. And they might come in shadow to start with, then you might start seeing them solid. When they come as the solid, they take a hell of a lot to get through as that. But if you see a shadow, that's brilliant. If you just feel, because one good thing, isn't it, Tony? Like when you taste, you can taste what they're eating, or they give you something, and it's lovely because you can't eat it. Like with me being diabetic, the only thing I don't like, and I've got to say, is I don't like when they put the pain on you.
No,
because if they've passed with a lot of pain and they put that pain on you, then it is really uncomfortable. I've had it where somebody's had a leg removed, and I can feel where they've took my leg, or they've had pain in the hips and that. Then it's not nice. So you do have to say, and you've heard us say it, take that off, because that's not nice. It hurts.
The worst one I had was, I get a lot of people who've died by their own hands or intention. They come to me a lot for some reason. And the first time it ever happened, it scared me, because I was in a development group. I was only learning, and this young gentleman hung himself, and I could feel the rope on my neck, and that scared me. She's talking to her sister. Oh, bless.
It's lovely. When they can talk to the other family spirits like that. Would you age in spirit? That's a good one. Babies, they do say they grow, and the babies,
but they don't really, because
it's really difficult. Energy. It's the energy. Yeah, you can't physically. Well, put it this way: I hope I don't age. when I go to spirit. But obviously, I'll be the age. When I pass to spirit, I'm going to be the age I pass at spirit. So if I went at 70, that's the way you'll remember me at 70.
Yeah,
That's
but
how all I can say. But they say
but
babies do grow. So
but
you'll
wouldn't you?
remember. Go on, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, but if you came back to me, you'd come back
As
as
you
you
knew
are
me.
now,
Yeah, as you
wouldn't you?
knew me.
Really?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I was going to see I'm in touch with a couple of friends that I was at school with, I would go to them as I because
As
it's
you can remember. It's how you
energy,
remember
it's
them.
your choice to present yourself as they are, which is why some people will say, well, no, that can't be my grandma if you're describing a woman in her 30s, because my grandma was 70 when she died. But for the purpose of the story she's given me, then she's presenting herself as she was when she was in her 30s. Oh, no, Michael, no, I've heard that a few times and don't know where people get that from, that you have this body identical to the one you had here and you move into that when you're in spirit. I don't understand that, because no spirit's ever come back and said to me, I've got this body that I walk around in while I'm in the spirit world. No. It's like if you imagine you're listening to Radio 2 in your car and you think, I want a bit of classic FM today, and you turn a dial and it changes the frequency of it. Well, you used to in the old days. It's like changing frequency. So your spirit energy changes vibration, so it leaves the physical body, and the physical body gets left behind, which is when it dies.
Yeah, this is only lent to us.
But your essence, your energy has gone. It's changed vibration, and it's so that's why there isn't really a heaven up in the sky. It's just that you've shifted across into. If you imagine,
different
when you're watching
universe.
Doctor Who and they talk about parallel universes and things, you just
Universes.
shifted across. So you're in the same space as we are now. You're just vibrating at a different.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's difficult, isn't it? This one's a good
It
one.
is.
Rachel, which do you think is your strongest mediumship tool, e.g., seeing, hearing, feeling?
I thought we answered that one.
Oh, have we answered that one? I'm
Because
behind
when we
then.
said
Stacey uses oracle cards. I'm sorry. Yeah. Somebody's asked about the classes.
Yeah.
Smart Cook. I think that's something else.
Yeah.
I need to have you under to center open again. I know, Amanda, sweetheart, as soon as they give me go ahead, I have asked just before. Well, let me just answer this, because if not, I'll be getting bombarded now. I've already rung and asked Dave about it, and at the minute, because we keep getting locked down and then we get eased a bit and then we lock down, for the night classes is going to be so difficult, because obviously getting people in to do what we need and for that social distancing and things like that. And as you know, we are in a group where there's different ethnic majorities, there's all different cultures, and we've got to really go careful. So if everything comes to plan June and he does what he says, our Amy calls him Uncle Boris for our Cohen, that we should be able to look at opening. But if he rings me and says he can sort things out earlier, then obviously, Amanda, I will get on to everybody and let you all know.
That's going to be so hard for the cleaner, because
well, this is why
clean
he
every
hasn't
room and the
said
toilets.
the day they can manage the odd class. They're not even running all classes, but it's going to be hard for us because we're going at night.
I agree. I want a 6 foot hunky bloke. Oh, you want to be a 6 foot hunky bloke? Sorry, I thought you said you want a 6 foot
My
hunky
dad always
bloke.
said to me, Jean, your body's lent to you. Now, when I was 16, I was a size 10. You know, lovely figure, long hair. Now, I'll not tell you what size I am. Well, I've lost a lot of weight, haven't I, Tony? I've gone back to a 16, but he said it's lent to us. So I wished he'd lent me a different body, but never mind.
I want a millionaire body. Yes. If somebody's had physical impairments and things here, there's no it's not that the hole, it's that they've left the disabled or impaired body behind. So energy is pure energy.
Yeah.
It hasn't got disabilities. So yeah,
You are all again.
you are whole. But like we said before, if you were a grumpy old so-and-so while you were here, then you're
still grumpy.
So-and-so over there, because that's nothing to do with your physical
Yeah, if
body.
somebody fetched my father-in-law back and said, "Oh, I've got this lovely gentleman, blah, de, blah, de, blah," I'll think, well, you ain't got him then, because he was so grumpy, so miserable. You know, the one to fetched him back like that. On a Sunday might have been nice because he would have been at pub. But the rest of the time, he were grumpy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. They come and see us over.
And it's somebody who loves you and cares, comes and gets you.
Your loved ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Pam Duffy hopes you get a better one.
Yeah, Pam. The ones are the best ones will come for you. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and in terms of bodies, yeah, I want a better one as well when I go over.
Oh yeah.
My mother-in-law said people were in her room when she went, and my hubby saw people in our room before he passed. Yeah,
that's true.
We do.
They will have.
Yeah.
They tend to look in one certain place, or they'll say, "So and so's been to see me today," and then you'll think, "Well, no, don't be silly. They can't. They're in spirit." If you don't believe in in mediumship, but they are there. They are with them.
Yeah.
And some nurses, when I were in hospital, when a woman kept saying, "Oh, my sister's been, where's she gone now?" And this nurse says, "Just taking a notice of her. You know, it's all medication." And I thought, no, it ain't medication, though.
No, she's
that
getting
lady's
ready.
really seeing her family who's coming for her. Says, and nurse says, "No." And I says, "No," I says, it's not her medication what's making her see that. And they just don't see it. They think we're a bit stupid at times, but the family were getting ready for her.
That man's got legs like mine.
What man?
I don't know. Suzanne says, "Oh, look, that man's got legs like mine. I thought it was his morphine." No, you see, they do. They can see people waiting for them.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to be scared of. It's.
I see shadows of people of animal who's been that. I must be way down near me somewhere.
Yeah.
See if I can get to. I'm way down. So I thought if somebody mentioned dreams, you know, a lot of people said they've had the family come in dreams, and a lot have said, "Is it true? Can they come in dreams?" A lot of time they do come in your dreams because it's best way they can get you. Yeah, you're open. So yeah, and if you can remember that dreams, it's brilliant. Or if you wake up, write it down, because usually when they come in dreams, they come to tell you something or ask you something. So yeah, they do come in dream state. It's one of the best ways they can come to you.
My granddad
because you're more relaxed. Yeah, you're more relaxed
before
in dream state.
I really got. Sorry, I've had nosebleeds and it's itching like mad. So I'm hoping it's not going to start again. Yeah, my granddad used to come and sit on the beach on rocks. In my dream, we used to have a really good natter.
Brilliant when you do.
I'm fairly certain my grandma and grandpa's mom came. Yeah, they will have.
Yeah, they're there in dream state. I'm just trying to catch up to you.
Oh, Sean. Yeah, your dad will come and talk to you while you're asleep.
Yeah, they will come and tell you everything what's going on.
And if you can remember it, write it down, because it'll be nice.
That's when I write it.
When you've got a few of them written down, to just look back
and you'll
see the messages
sense.
he's been giving. See the messages he's been giving you.
Yeah, they'll all mix in and all make sense in end.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Megan, have you ever done that one when my grandma passed? I wake up crying.
I've just put it on the screen.
Oh, have you? I was just looking at it on here.
Yeah, that's it. we've had messages before from people, haven't we, where they've said, tell them not to worry, or I went round and said goodbye to them all.
Yeah.
So when they pass, they will come to each person in the family and just say their goodbyes.
Yeah, they do. My dad always used to say, every Christmas, bless him, I'm on my rounds every Christmas. And I've got to say to this day, he'll still say, I'm on my rounds. And my little brother, not our Andy, our Darren, I've still got a smaller brother. He's 50 something now, but he's still my little brother. And he said at Christmas, this is the first Christmas, he said, he phoned us all, he says, I'm just doing rounds. And he fetched Christmas cards and posted them. And I thought, now that's my dad. That's what my dad said. I'm doing rounds. And he said it exactly as my dad said it.
Yeah.
And he didn't realise what he'd said.
Oh, I was just reading Mel's. When my mum passed, her door opened 6 times that day. And the last time we heard the voice of a young man shout, Mum.
Oh.
And it was the brother who'd come. Oh.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
They're there for us. I had wandered around 90 days before I move on.
I've not heard that one, Megan. No.
No, I've not heard that. No, I don't know about that, Megan.
They'll go and see the families before.
But I didn't know about that.
Oh, Stace. Yes, I do. I really, really do.
Yeah.
I would say to have an effective reading, if you're booking a reading with a medium, I would say 4 to 6 months. Every 4 to 6 months is more than enough.
My sister Stacey has a reading near enough every week with anybody she can have, because she lost a son, her youngest, 3 years ago now, coming up 3 years this year. And she'll have a reading every week with different mediums just so she can hear from him. And it's silly, the money she's spent, and nobody's telling her what she really wants. Nobody's give her what she really wants, because she just wants to know everything, and nobody can tell her what she's wanting. And times I've said to her, stop spending your money, because she's been ripped off, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
She's been ripped off.
Yeah.
When somebody told her to contact him every week, every other week, and all they were doing was taking the money, and my sister was that daft, she was doing it.
Yeah, it's sad.
And she still is. She still is, because she wants to hear from him.
David will never tell her what she wants to hear.
No, he's with her anyway, but she won't have it.
He's not gone anywhere.
So that's true, that, Tracy, love. People do get, Stacey, sorry, people do get where they just go obsessed a bit, wanting to hear from that certain loved one.
Last couple. Do you think that if somebody has a sudden tragic death before their time, it's caused by someone else, and it's caused by someone else? Do they get lost for a while? No. They move on to the family. They might. It goes back to what we were saying before. You might think they're lost because they're around, but they're not lost. They're just around the family because they want to be around the family. It's
all new to them. You've got to think, if you pass away sudden, then, and you're all of a sudden you were down here talking, having a drink or whatever, then you've passed away and you've gone to somewhere totally different. It's going to shock you. You're going to think, blooming heck, where am I? You know, it's like being in a coma, I suppose, and then all of a sudden wake up and you don't know you're in an hospital bed. So I suppose it could be a bit like that, but you're in spirit. So you're thinking, where am I? You're lost. So first thing you want to do is find out where you are, who you're with, and what's happened, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, do you? You hear people say, 1 minute they were here, next minute they've gone. And then the mediums come back and said they didn't even know they'd passed a spirit.
Yeah. I've heard that though. I've heard that it's like 1 minute I was sat having a cup of tea watching the telly, and then
all of
I
a
was
sudden,
looking at myself laid in a chair with a cup of tea. And it's And
I've met Joe Bloggs, my Uncle Jack or whatever, who I hadn't seen, and I know he passed away all them years ago. They've met up with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been in funerals and Tony's where I've watched people who's passed watch their own funeral.
Yeah.
So
Well,
they're watching their own funeral to see what it's like, see if it's any good.
yeah. Yeah. Trace, I agree with you on that one. It just gets me that that's why we say on our feeds, if somebody starts doing that, we work with the spirit that comes to us. Sometimes we're drawn to a name or something, but yeah, the medium will go to where they need to be. I'm going to get on my soapbox. I'm sorry, Jane.
Go on, love.
But all these, share and send me stars and send me this and send that. No, because spirit won't. If I make a list and say, right, I'm going to read for Sophie Haig first, then for Evelyn, and then for April, and then for Sean, and then for Suzanne, spirit aren't going to come to me in that order.
No.
They'll come to me as they want to. I can't order them up and say. So, no. And the other day when somebody was bombarding with emojis going up and up the screen, that was distracting because all these flashy colours were going up. But it's
Can
just...
I just say... sorry, go on.
Go on.
No, I'm just saying...
I don't mind anybody having a chat in the chat group. It doesn't bother me at all, as long as it's not going up that quick that we can't see who's responding to the messages we're getting. But then I'll say, can you slow the chat down a little bit, guys, because I can't see what's going on. But it's because it's a community, and that's important. That's part of me being a minister and you being my congregation who watch me all the time, and I love it. But no, no, there's too much. It's getting a bit show busy on Facebook at the minute.
I think I'm addicted watching these live feeds. Not for me, love, hearing messages. Susanna. You see, it's awkward. We all want a message, and I can understand how people do get a bit frustrated at times, and they'll say, you might find that you've got one person had messages 3 times in like a week, which can happen, and usually it's because they need that message. So that's why they're coming to them, because there's a reason for it. And then you get the ones will say, well, I'm asking for this, I'm asking for that. Just give your loved ones time to answer you. So they can't answer you sometimes straight away. They might answer you in just by a song, what you're listening to. Something might just shoot up on telly, and then you'll think, oh, that's it. They will answer you in the way that they know the best. So if it's not a medium what gives it you, you're asking for something from your loved ones, just watch, because they can answer you in different ways what you're not sure on. So it could be a song, it could be something on telly what just triggers it. You might think, well, make something, and that could be from your loved one sending it that way. So never be disheartened if you don't get a message, because you could be getting it in different ways.
Yeah, you can. You can, indeed. When my mum passed, it was different to everyone I saw pass. Her face turned to stone like before. She stopped breathing at least 5 minutes. Your mum will have gone
before that.
Yeah, long before that.
The people what go in and out of consciousness, usually it's because they've already started leaving the body.
Yeah.
And they just jump back, but usually it's just taking that bit of time to go because it's holding back.
See you later then, Tara.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you for watching.
You will find a lot of already started to go like that.
Yeah. April, your mum will answer you when you're ready. And you might think you're ready now, but there'll be a reason why your mum thinks you're not.
Yeah.
There really will be a reason why your mum thinks you're not ready yet. Or it might be something you're asking for that your mum can't answer, or there isn't a real answer to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up with you.
I'm trying to catch up with a few as well, because there's quite a few just gone up all of a sudden, all at once.
Yeah, now it's come to time.
Yeah. A lot of times people got a medium and expect reading from someone. Exactly, Amanda.
Oh,
from
Mandela.
Amanda Goodgrove.
Yes, she used to come to my group as well. She were another one from development.
Only expect to get a reading from someone they want answers from. Exactly. You can't guarantee who's going to come through.
Nobody does. That's why you always say when you go to a church, they'll always say, go with an open mind. Because if you think of one person, which we all do, I always say we all want as mum, dad, brother, sister, nan, granddad, husband, wife. But if you come with that open mind, you'll be surprised you've seen it on here, where somebody you've not expected to come through, and then they've fetched the other person through you've wanted. Because it's just been that little bit what needed somebody else to give them that push to come.
Yeah.
I know it sounds a bit, you've got to know what we're on about. It all gets a bit confusing for us at times because they're all wanting to come. But just open your mind to anyone. And then we also get a lot saying, well, I didn't know him. That doesn't matter if you didn't know that loved one what's come through. It's because they've watched you grow up, so they know about you. And that's how it all comes across. It's so weird. Funny how it all works out.
Stace, you're right. We always say, don't we? Spirit will always give you what you need, which is different to what you want.
You want.
They know exactly what you need at that point in time, and that's what they give you. They won't give you any more or any less. They'll give you exactly what you need right there and then, which could be, like I said, very disappointing if you want a specific bit of information. I know Jean's waiting for one thing from her brother.
And I've waited, 15 years, something like that. No, a lot more. And I still haven't got that one thing.
And like I said at the beginning of the feed, my mum's mum passed 50 years ago, and she's never been through to my mum.
No.
I see her, and I've had messages off her.
Yeah.
And my mum's like, but why will she come to you? April.
You've got to, darling.
I'm going to say something here that might sound a bit, but you might need to talk to somebody, love, like Cruz Bereavement Care. If you feel you're stuck in your grief until you hear this bit of information, you might need to talk to somebody, love. And I don't mean that with any disrespect, but I know myself, I used to be a bereavement.
I've done it with job I did, but you might need something other.
Cruz Bereavement.
Yeah.
Care. And I had people coming to me and they'd been 5 or 6 years stuck in one spot because they feel they can't move on. And
you might need something, someone else.
You just might need some help, sweetheart, because a medium, it doesn't sound like a medium can give you
what you need. You're wanting.
No.
And it'd be wrong of them to try to give you something, sweetheart, what is not there. Because it won't be right.
Yeah. Anyway, we have come to time, I'm afraid. So it's been brilliant. I've really enjoyed it.
I've enjoyed it. It's been different, hasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't what we thought it was going to be. Because we thought it was going to be an evening of mediumship with Maka. That went pear-shaped because Maka couldn't be with us. So we were going to do me interviewing, if you like, Jean, but it's turned into your evening again, which is wonderful.
No, that's nice. That's what it's meant to be. That's what it's meant to be, isn't it?
It is. So it has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for spending your evening with us.
Yes.
And thank you, Jean.
No, thank you. You've done just as much as me. It's not just been me, as I've only spoken about a little bit up front to my experiences.
You are right. Grieving is hard work.
It is.
Hard work.
And you'll never stop grieving, sweetheart. It's no good anybody saying, no, you'll be all right next week.
You never get over grief. You just learn to live with the hole that people have left in your life. You really do. And it's, so tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock, we have our afternoon service. I haven't done the StreamYard for it. I'll do it as soon as I finish this. Then we've got our Friday service. And then we'll have our Sunday service.
Yes.
So, and tomorrow night we have an evening Be Diabetes Aware. with the Rainbow Project. So that'll be on my Facebook page. So no mediumship tomorrow night. If you see me on, it's just an evening of awareness with mediumship. And no mediumship, an evening of diabetes awareness is what I meant to say. My brain's going foggy.
Going to mush now.
It's turned to mush. Yep. So thank you so much.
It's been lovely. Thank you for asking me on.
No problem. If I close in prayer,
I'll do my little song.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Could we blend our energies together, please? Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, thank you so much for this evening. Thank you so much for the evening of conversation. The blend of energies has been wonderful, and I hope that people have found answers to questions and little bits of information that they didn't know before. Father, I ask that a guardian angel be with each and everybody who's watched tonight and those who will watch in the future, because as we know, this will be up on Facebook now and across the internet forever and amen. And now, Father, I hand back to you everything which is rightfully yours with love, honour and glory. Amen.
Amen. Lord, keep us safe this night, secure from all our fears. May angels guard us while we sleep, till morning light appears. Amen.
Amen. Good night and God bless everybody.
Good night and God bless everybody. Keep safe.
See you really soon. Bye-bye.
Those on tomorrow, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow afternoon, everybody. Bye.